Hello, hello, hello. This will be my first book that I am using Atticus for to go through the whole process of inputting the book, using Atticus to do the formatting, and then using it for hopefully both the ebook and the paperback. So let's go ahead and get started here. And this first video is actually going to be for my assistant to know how to upload or to copy and paste my document into the Atticus type frame. So we're here in Atticus, and I already did this part, but I wanted to show you from the beginning what it would look like to create a book in Atticus. So you log in. This is my home screen. You can see I have quite a few different book ideas, but you would click Start a New Book. You would put the title, the author, and then the project. You can group things by project, which is helpful. And then you would just say, go get them Atticus, and it will create the book. And here is where you have the layout. And I'm not going to worry too much about the formatting and everything yet, because I can tweak that once the book is there. But here is my Google document with the book set up. And the book itself has gone through the writing process, the editing process, the beta reader process. We edited it again, and then it went to a proofreader, and those edits have been made. There may be a few small things that I am going to still tweak, but my goal is at this point is to just get the entire book into Atticus, and then I can make any final tweaks there. So we have the title page, and we have Cultivate Courage, which is the title of this devotional. And then I have my subtitle here. Oh, let's edit book details. So subtitle, and we actually have a book cover. So let's go ahead and put this in here. Let's go to downloads. It's not going to be there. Cultivate Courage. Let's go ahead and upload that. There it is. It looks like the top got a little cut off. But we'll see what that looks like when we move it over to Amazon, because Amazon, you actually upload the book cover separately. So I may not even need this here. Here's the different ways to export the book, which is great. And we have the authors, book title, subtitle, project. I'm not going to worry about version, start page. We would start with the title page. Publisher details, Unstoppable Writers Publishing. I do have an image, but I don't know if it's here. So I'm not going to worry about it if it is here. Let's see what I want to use. Yeah, we'll just use this for now. I don't know if it'll work, but not really. So we will leave that blank. Publisher link. We are going to go ahead and do my website. The print ISBN, we're going to leave blank. I wonder if KDP already gave it an ISBN when I did the pre-order. So let's go check that out. So here's this. Let's go to continue setup. So you can see on KDP, I already set up the pre-order, and my final files are due May 15th. It's currently April 22nd, so I have time to get it set up. And I just noticed my subtitle here is not correct. So let's update this. Perfect. Book title. Oh, and this is paperback. So actually, we're going to go ahead and exit out of this because I wanted to see if they assigned me an ebook ISBN. So let's go back to bookshelf. Let's go back here. So we're looking let's view on Amazon, because I think if there is an ISBN, it might be here. So let's just look. So I set up this pre-order previously. You can see it all there. I need to update the age. I didn't realize it would cut off at 18 when I set it up. There's an ASIN number. Now, ebooks, ISBNs are not required, so I wonder if Amazon gave it one or if Amazon just left it off. So let's, okay, a 10-digit Amazon standard ASIN serves, well, that is not required. So I could provide my own if I wanted, but for ebooks that I'm just having on Amazon, I'm not really worried about that. I will go ahead and just put in the ASIN number just to have it. And let's see. So we have now on Atticus, the publisher details, the book details, and let's see, let's close you out. I'm just trying to move this so that my Zoom buttons are not in the way. Okay, this all looks good. So let's go back. Okay, we have all of this. Now we're back to the title page, which is here. Copyright page. So let's go back to my book. I do have a copyright page, so let's go ahead and scroll down. Takes a minute to load because the book is long. It's the downside of Google Docs. Okay, let's keep going here. Oh, and then I have an introduction. So let's, anytime you are adding a new section, you can go to add new chapter. And then here, so that's all the chapters. Let's see, preset layouts, introduction, there we go. So I went to preset layouts, introduction. And what's nice is I can move this around. So my introduction is here. And I'm gonna make this smaller so it's easier to see my full page. There it is, that helps. So introduction, and we have this verse. Let's see how it does with bringing over my formatting. It doesn't really. So when my assistant does this, she'll need to fix the formatting as she copies and pastes. And then here's our introduction. Let's copy and paste this. And I'm very curious to see how our emojis look in this. So this is all aligned incorrectly. So I'm going to switch it over. I'm going to get rid of some of these extra spaces just in case they mess up the page formatting. So let's look at this. And this is fine. I don't know that I love this font, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. At this point, we just want to get the whole book into here. And then these, I did like them centered. So again, either I or my assistant will need to have the Google Doc here and then be looking and seeing the format we want it to be. Now, something else that we are able to do is we can click over to formatting, and this is where we can choose the font, we can choose the layout. So as I look here at the options, and there's not a ton of options, but I'm not complaining because at least it's done and I don't have to do it. So you can click, and I wonder, let's see. I kind of like that, Delphini. And these are really, I don't see that the font is really changing. So maybe the font is here. Okay, it is. And in general, you want a font that is easy to read. So I'm going to go with Georgia. That looks nice too, but Georgia, I'm going to go with. It's easier to read. And then let's see. That looks too modern. That's not terrible. Introduction. I'm just going to click through and look at all the options. In general, with my books, rather than try to be cute or artsy, I really want it to be clear more than anything else. So, and I don't know that I need the chapter 1. And it's interesting that it has all these different names there. Let me check one more thing here. Oh, and I can even create a new theme, which is interesting. I'm not going to do that at this point. Deciding if there's one that I like. You know what? I can come and change this later, so I'm not gonna get stuck with this decision right now. That's a good note for me and for you, that it's so easy to feel like, oh, I have to get all of this perfect right now. But it's the end of the day, my brain is tired, not gonna worry about it. Again, the focus is just getting all of this into Word. So my introduction is now in here. Let's look real quick at the emojis. So they look good. We will see how they export and what they look like there. So after my introduction, I have my copyright page. So let's double check this. Let's keep going. It's a bit long, so I may need to shorten this, but again, I'm not going to worry about that right this minute. So here's our copyright page. I like their wording there, so I'm going to leave it just in case. And this page definitely needs some work. So, oh, and my thing looks great. And here's the scripture quotations. And I don't like what that did, so we will leave it like this for now. This is one of those things I need to double check my scripture, just double check which scripture were used and which ones we need to cite here at the beginning. And then we have this. And I have never had anyone reach out to me for the bulk discount, so I will probably end up moving that to the back if I can't get this all on one page. But we will see how it works. So let's fix that. And then I already had this wording, so we're going to get rid of that. Okay, there's the copyright. And here's the table of contents. So we do want that, and it has it right here. So this is going to automatically update as we add our chapters. So I'm not going to worry about the table of contents quite yet. Similarly to when you insert a table of contents, it's down here at the bottom. You can't see it because the buttons, there it is, table of contents. When you insert one in Google Docs, it's hyperlinked, so you don't want to mess with this because you can simply focus on the headings and editing those. So now we are at chapter 1. and you can click on it, it'll come right up. So what you're going to do is paste in the chapter title. And this is a co-written book. That's why all of the butterflies are entries that I have written. And then all of the pens are entries that Beth has written. Our chapters do not have subtitles, although I'm gonna see what it looks like putting the verse in there. Nope, don't like it. So our chapters do not have subtitles. What they have is a verse, and then they have the body of the devotional, and then they have a prayerful prompt. So my assistant is going to go through each day, copy it, and then paste it, which you can also do Control C and Control V for copy and paste. And then the formatting does need to be checked because we want the verses centered like that. And then, yep, so that's good, centered. And then we're going to go right into, you know what I actually want to look at? Let's see, I don't want a page break, but I'm wondering if we can do a split chapter. Nope, that is not what I want to do. How do I delete that? Let's delete that. Delete. So we're back here. Ooh, that looks real funky. So we're not going to do that. So it's all here in one again, and it put these wrong, so we're going to put those back. There we go. But I do want this centered. So the verse and the reference will be centered. And then what I'm looking for is a way to insert a line. I guess I could do that, but that's not quite what I'm looking for either. Perhaps I will just do an extra space and then see what that looks like. Let's go to formatting. Okay, so this is kind of cool. You can go to formatting for the specific chapter and then actually see what it will look like. And here it does make me want a little bit of a bigger space. So let's go back to writing and let's check out what this looks like in formatting. That doesn't look terrible. I kind of like that. Just for space for the eyes and almost like a pause. So I'm gonna do that. We'll have the verse centered. We'll have the 3 little dots inserted. And then here is the rest of the devotional. And we're just keeping it all left aligned. And then the goal is for people to have space for the prayerful prompt. So we're not going to split the chapter, but we do want a page break right here so that every prayerful prompt starts on its own page. And then if it's asking people to list things, we're going to actually do some space so that they can do that. Even though this is an ebook, I wouldn't really have to do space. And actually, that's a good point. Since it's an ebook, I'm going to do less space. But when I do it for the paperback, I'll do more space so that people actually have space to write. So let's just look at how this looks so far. And I'm still not set on this format here, but I do like these asterisks for space. And then you can see what it would look like on the device because this is a Kindle. And prayerful prompt. So this almost looks like it doesn't look like it's on a new page. So I am going to have to check into that. So I have the page break. What I might end up doing is inserting these here. And let's just look if that gives it more space to breathe. So, my cursor, I see that's better already, even for the ebook version. I'm a big believer in space for your eyes, for your brain, for your soul. So that I'm settled now will be the format for the chapters, at least while my assistant pulls them in, and then I may make some tweaks later. but that is how you begin inserting your book into Atticus. And let's go ahead and do one more chapter together. This is especially for my assistant, just to confirm the format. So you're going to go to the title. You just put that straight in. There's no subtitle. If we wanted to, we could probably put our names, like by Beth, by Deanne, and I'll see what that looks like in a minute. Actually, let's test that out here, just to see how we feel about it. So let's look at formatting. That's actually kind of cute, but the focus really isn't our names and who wrote it, so we are not going to do the names. So again, we're here, we put in the chapter title, then we go ahead and copy this. The more you do it, the faster it gets. So this is again for the ebook. And sometimes the line spacing is weird when we copy and paste, so we just need to fix that. The verse is centered, and then we were inserting our asterisks, and then the body of the devotional can start right after. And you'll notice in our writing, we do shorter paragraphs and bullet points. That's because our culture is one of skimming, and especially for devotionals for busy writers, they're more likely to read it if it's not heavy on the eyes and like long, convoluted paragraphs. So that's part of our thinking behind the way that we've written these and leaning towards shorter paragraphs, almost copywriting type of conversational entries. And you'll notice we sometimes also bold phrases. That's because we really wanted those to stand out. So at the end of the body of the devotional, we insert the 3 asterisks and we insert the page break. And then we have the prayerful prompt. And again, it's so some of them, the prayerful prompts have multiple parts. Some of them it's just one. So here it's a series of questions. And again, just giving the eye room to breathe, people a chance to process. My assistant won't necessarily know how to format all these, but doing this other formatting will just save so much time. So let's just look at this real quick. Here it is, serendipity. And there's the body of the devotional and the prayerful prompt. This, I need to pull that in so it, or I guess they all start with the first line indented, which is fine. But I just want the prayerful prompt, I don't know that I want it indented. But I'm not going to worry about that. We're just getting it in and I can do all that tweaking later. So there you have it. That is the process for getting your content into Atticus and some of the decisions you get to make as you're doing it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, my friends, to stay curious and keep writing.